I'm
see your
sorry,
video.
the
I'm just
network is,
waiting
the weather
to.
is a bit bad here, so
Okay.
Good. We're seeing you clearly now.
okay,
I
thank
like
you.
this picture at your
Sorry.
background. That's Oshodi, right?
Behind.
Yes, it is. Well,
Is it a
thank
canvas
you.
or a picture?
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Is it a painting or a picture?
Yes, it's well, it's more or less a kind of a digitized painting per se.
Okay.
So
But
yes, wow.
it's
Oh,
kind
okay.
Okay,
Thank
we are
you.
not
I
live, so
apologize
we
for.
can. It's okay. It's okay. We can read the author's profile now,
All
and
right.
then we'll hear from the author himself
Okay.
as he introduces himself.
so Happiness, please let's have the author's profile.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Dr. Charles Tulokwe Akinshete was born into the family of Engineer Francis and Miss Beatrice Akinshete on the 30th of April 1981. He attended Bonnywell Primary School and proceeded to St. Teresa's Minor Seminary, Okeare, Ibadan. In 2002, the young Charles gained admission into the University of Ibadan, where he bagged his Bachelor of Arts degree in 2006. He broke the record of a 20-year-long, graduating from the prestigious Department of English with a first-class degree. That same year, he won the prizes for best graduating student both at the department and at the faculty levels. Charles Akinshete went ahead to bag his master's degree at the Department of English, University of Ibadan, where he also obtained his doctorate degree in 2018 on the topic The Postmodern Temper in Selected African and African American Novels. Dr. Akinshete was teaching assistant at the Center for General Studies, where he taught the use of English for about 4 years before becoming an associate lecturer in 2012. Due to his exceptional mastery of his discipline, he was made to join the services of teaching and research at the Department of English, University of Ibadan in 2012 as a full-time lecturer. He indeed rose through the ranks and today he is a senior lecturer. Dr. Akinshete teaches African literature, African American literature, English poetry, literary theory, Caribbean literature, Bible as literature, oral literature and creative writing at the Department of English, UI. At postgraduate level, he teaches literature of the Black diaspora as well as literature and the new media. Since he joined the service of the university, he has functioned in several roles. He was coordinator, Department of English Timetable Committee 2018, distance learning facilitator and departmental representative 2013 to date, member, Department of English Finance Committee 2015 to 2019, member, Curriculum Committee, Department of English 2019 to date, DLC Deputy Coordinator, Department of English 2017 to 2019, GES 201, Use of English 2, Supervisor 2020 to 2025, member, Finance Committee, Center for General Studies, University of Ibadan, member, representing Congregation in Senate, University of Ibadan 2020 to 2022, Assistant Hall Warden, Abdulsalami Abubakar PG Hall 2019 to 2023. Currently, he is Hall Warden Abdulsalami Abubakar Postgraduate Hall. In 2015, Dr. Akinshete was named the facilitator at the Association of Nigerian Authors (ANA) Creative Writing Workshop, which took place in Abuja. In 2018, he was visiting speaker, Department of English Speaker Series, University of the Free State, South Africa. He became Fellow African Humanities Program (AHP), an initiative of the American Council of Learned Society, which enabled him to spend 2 months in South Africa on research. That same year, he was recipient of the Alexander Humboldt University Talent Travel Award, Humboldt University, Berlin. In 2019, he was part of the visiting research team to the Institute of Asian and African Studies, sponsored by Alexander von Humboldt Foundation. In 2024, He was awarded Postdoctoral Researcher, AVH Institute Partners CHAP, a trilateral research group linkage program sponsored by Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, Berlin, Germany. Dr. Akinshete is an international scholar, and his researches have taken him abroad to countries such as Germany, United Kingdom, South Africa, Ghana, Botswana, and so on. Akinshete is a poet, researcher, teacher, and mentor. His collections of poetry are Do Not Preach to Me, 2018, and Dance of a Savage Kingdom, 2020. Do Not Preach to Me has been recommended twice by the Ministry of Education as part of the literature curriculum for secondary school students in Oyo State. His second collection of poetry, Dance of the Savage Kingdom, was shortlisted for the Association of Nigerian Authors Prize for Poetry in 2022. In 2024, he published his maiden novel entitled Broken Dreams on Lofty Hills. He is married to his beautiful wife, Mrs. Ibitayo Akinshete, with 3 lovely children. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Charles Tolulokpe Akinshete.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's giving up for our distinguished, accomplished author, Dr. Charles Akinshete. In fact, that is a long lineup of
Thank you so much.
accomplishments and stewardship. In fact, no, I do not have enough accolades. I was just saying, wow, wow, wow. One distinguishing fact about our author is the achievement, and at quite a youthful age. I'm always impressed. I must confess, I think this will be our third time of meeting. We met once, if you can recollect, at Faculty of Arts at one event like that. Then the last time we brought you here, then today, you've always been somebody I admire a lot from afar, because your accomplishment really baffles me, and your humility, it's something rare. Someone as young, and now to now top it up with, or cap it up with humility, I must give that to you. You are one great combo of excellence and humility. So we are very glad to be associated with you. And we are so glad that you are always at our beck and call. We really thank you. We appreciate you for coming once again to share your talent with us. So on behalf of LRF, I'm welcoming you officially to today's reading. And I'm passing the mic to you for a short introduction of yourself. We've heard your citation, but we'd like to hear from you before you now share your works with us. So over to you, Doctor.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very much honored again to be part of this august gathering. Before I say anything about myself, I would like to first of all thank this amazing Literary Renaissance Foundation, which of course is one of the most unique bodies that still recognize the importance of literature and reading, in a community that is fast, let me say, dissipating its the conventional mode of reading, so to speak, falling for the well, let's say, benefits of the social media. I want to especially thank the director and founder of this organization, who happens to be my senior, far. In fact, when I was coming in 100 level, he was already out serving. If I can still recollect, Mr. Babatunde Oladele has always been a role model, and ironically speaking, he was nicknamed after my best drama text, which is Macbeth. So then we used to call him Macbeth, and so on. So I want to really thank you, sir, for the opportunity you've given us. I would also like to extend my gratitude to all the members of this unique body. Permit me not to, I won't be able to mention names, but again, I have to specify Miss Mary, who she's always on my
I think we lost your audio when you were talking about Mary. I hope Mary did not offend you.
say without wasting time is
Okay.
that love to read into the importance of literature, because again, literature is fundamental to human development. You can argue it back and forth. So I'm a student of literature, and I'm a proud one, so to speak. And I must also admit that my university, the University of Ibadan, the first and the best. I hope nobody's coughing there. I'll repeat,
I
the
said,
first and
so
the best. Okay. Without the support, I don't think I would have achieved anything. So I also want to thank everybody that I have surrounded me, my family, friends, colleagues, both at undergraduate and postgraduate level. They are let me say, the support system that I had in ensuring that I can push whatever little efforts in my own contribution to the literary development of Nigeria. So once more, I want to say thank you for allowing me to be here and to share my latest work with you. I wish you a wonderful reading.
you're highly welcome, sir. Thanks for heeding our call once again. So, without much ado, we shall go into the day's business. And as is our usual practice, we are going to take the reading in stages. If time permits, we can have up to 3 readings. But when you you take the first reading, then you pause for reactions, questions, contributions. Then you go ahead for the second reading, after which you pause again for audience responses. Then, if we still have time on our hands, we can now take the final reading before we wrap it up. So, I am eager. I believe you are sharing your latest work with us.
Yeah.
The novel. That's beautiful. The last time you came, you shared your poetry with us, and
Yes.
we were all enthralled. So
Okay.
now we want to see your attempt at
Getting ready for Nobel laureate in literature. Covering all the jobs,
I'm just happy to write.
In fact, we are happy to have you.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
let's think, sir. The first reading, please.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to be taking a reading from the book novel Broken Dreams on Lofty Hills. Let me say that before I read, let me just quickly say that this novel is in about, I think, 14 chapters. So, but each chapter has a kind of a pseudo chapter, which is more or less a kind of a stream of consciousness. So I'm going to be reading from the first, well, let me say chapter of the first chapter, so to speak. So, all right. And I title this part, Reality of Dreams. Reality of Dreams. I do not like dreams. I strongly believe that dreams are wacky, insensitive, and usually become gruesome expressions of our insanity. A man once said that dreams are the origin of all fears. Every fear begins with a dream. Every dream, an expression of our fears. Fear of rejection, of loss, of pain, of knowledge or the lack of it, of success, of failure, of peace, of war, of death. I hate dreams because most of the time they leave me expressionless, hanging from a droopy rope of sanity, especially those ones that recall. When they reappear, there is a sense of helplessness, even so-called good ones. First, they seduce you with insensitive pleasure. Eventually, they drown you with doubts until your doubt becomes an effectuation of reality. And if they don't, God help you, you remain permanently trapped and exposed like a hungry leech on a white man's skin. Ask the Everly Brothers. They should understand what I am saying, since their song says, all we have to do is to dream. It is as if my dreams recognize me, undermine me. If not, why do they hunt me like a pride of hungry lions to a plump gazelle or fat buffalo hide? That is why, in most cases, they come back again and again. I dream a lot. The funny thing about my dreams is that they latch onto my psyche until I become conscious of the actuality, that dreams are in fact realities, and that realities are in fact embedded in dreams. So when I dream again and again about pregnant beauty jumping down from the uncompleted story building in front of our house, I immediately know that it is reality, my reality. And when it happened before my very eyes, mother is baffled that of all present at the unfortunate scene, I am the only one tearless. Or that one in which the fat black snake creeps into my room and curls up beside my head. Years after, I can still feel the coolness of its skin on the left side of my face. As usual, I scream and scream, but no one answers, perhaps because only I can hear my voice drowned in usual heavy Friday night rain, that evil accomplice which constantly wipes out the night electricity in the neighborhood. My regular trips to Mama Ijesha's shop to grind beans for akara the next morning confirm such reality. It is either a falling pole or a group of observers surrounding the exhausted transformer. Usually, the deadbeat cluster of rusty iron is one casualty of the August rainfall that empowers my dreams. So you see, dreams are indeed malevolent. They make you tremble. They make you deny your perception of reality. Perhaps Malcolm X was right after all in his subtle denunciation of Luther King's dream decree. Bullets are his reality, since ballots appear to be a dream. Such combination seems to be never free and fair. I wonder if King ever dreamt on his reality, or perhaps X reality ever come to him in dreams. But King is right. We all have dreams. I don't know much for the billions of others on this dying planet, but mine are simply whacked because they remain unpredictable and uncontrollable. So when I find myself being ushered into a large compound by my parents in the midst of hundreds of boys singing on a lush grass, I wake up rejecting it in Jesus' name, as mother had taught, and simply forgot about it. After all, nothing dies faster than dreams. But 2 Saturdays later, I am called into a room where my parents tell me to prepare for a journey. Still, I am not surprised, only that I leave their presence, hating dreams the more. I tell you, dreams are whacked. Thank you.
Thank you so much
Wow.
for that wonderful intro. Because
Wow.
just as you stopped, I was wondering, are you stopping with like we are going to whet our appetite?
Wow.
That was quite very rich use of
Thank you.
imagery. The
Thank you.
imagery was no. As you were reading, every detail, every word is just stamping the images
Mm,
of the setting,
mm,
of the situation.
mm.
In fact, talking about dreams, it gives a sense of deja vu. We've all been there. We
Mm,
all have our dreams and our interpretation of dreams and our attitude to dreams.
mm,
Then the first person point of view is one clear, enthralling technique that always draws the audience in,
mm,
giving credence, the eyewitness point
mm,
gives it a reality um, coloring. Everybody would easily be drawn in,
mm,
ready to listen, as if we are there when the story is being told by the eyewitness. So that's
mm,
one great technique
mm.
to use to sustain a reader's interest. You have done great on that, but you are just bringing the cat out of the bag. And I believe that others here would also be revealing. We are eagerly waiting for more. So I'll be opening the floor for reactions to that short intro. Over to the audience. Let's hear your point of view. Yes, the first sporting point of view.
Yeah,
The no
let me
has.
quickly just also dive in. I love the stream of consciousness. I think this is just stream of consciousness that is beautiful best because you just going on and all that. But is this like a prologue to the first chapter? Because I mean, you started. I think there's a novel like that. Was it Thomas Hardy that wrote something like this? That just started with the stream of consciousness. Idame of Casterbridge, one of his very beautiful novels, that just started with stream of consciousness. Hey, what is he talking about? And just going on and on and on, just drawing the readers. And I love that. Hearing you reading this just reminded me about that book, and it's fantastic. So is this a prelude or prologue, or the chapter itself that is just starting with this stream of consciousness technique that you used?
Well, okay, thank you very much, Mr. My director, Mr. Babs Oladele, for that. Well, it's well, I've read. You're right. There are quite a number of novels that include stream of consciousness into their work. Usually, it appears within the pages of each chapter or within the context of each chapter also. But what I've done is that every page, or sorry, every chapter has its stream of consciousness. So the idea is that the character, before you can know more about the character using the omniscience narrative technique, you would have already heard the character speak to you about a kind of a prelude to what is going to happen in that chapter, so to speak.
Wow.
So this
Yeah.
well, let me just say that the central character here happens to be a young boy who, of course, the story talks about his experiences within the context of a school environment. But here you can see that he was going on a journey. But before going on that journey, which of course constitutes what you find in the first chapter, he had already thought about it. That okay, or maybe he started speaking to himself. You know, many young boys, or when you, I don't know, people do not really know what is going on in the mindset of young chaps who are being forced into, let me say, a boarding school environment, so to speak. Their parents just push them there and nobody knows what is going on in their minds, so to speak. So the idea is to reveal, you know, the unspoken thoughts and maybe screams or different surges of emotions, maybe hatred for the school or whatever you can imagine. So the idea is just to show you his own perspective to it. So he had already seen this in a dream, and he never loved dreams because his dreams usually come out to become some sense of actuality. So
Well,
so
that
that's
means you
I don't know
adopted
if you have been
two
able to answer that question.
narrative techniques, both the omniscient and then the third person, or is it the first person? Oh, wonderful! Wow, this will be a
In
very
stream of
interesting read.
in
Wow.
stream of consciousness, the first person point of view will have to come in, diverging his thoughts.
Yes.
So then I think as the novel goes on, as he has said, he deploys the omniscient, that is all-seeing eye, whereby he not only gives the story from his own point of view, he sees other people's story physically and into their consciousness too. So it's going to be an interesting read, and I'm itching to hear some more, itching to have my fingers laid on one of the copies on my copies precisely, which I hope I will get. Since I'm in Ibadan. So
I think,
those who are not in Ibadan, sorry, but I know you get yours too. So let's take reactions from others before we go for a second reading.
Okay.
Do you have any other reaction from anyone?
May I chip in something that maybe before we have a reaction?
All right.
I've been fortunate to get feedbacks from students, well, in different parts of the country where the book was recommended. And I was shocked when 2 or 3 students called me to inform me that after reading the book, they practically cried.
Wow.
And I was, because it was maybe in their own opinion too tragic, and the twist, the expectations for the character or some of the characters were not actualized. It's like, you know, again, alluding to the title itself, broken dreams, you know. So, and I also had the opportunity of being invited to Ondo State. I think the university, it's escaped my mind now. No, not
University.
In the Ondo State, why College of Education before, and now it's a university. So is it Adekunle Ajasin now?
Akungba?
Yeah. No, not in Akungba, in Ondo itself. Ondo.
Okay. Sorry.
I've forgotten. And I'm sorry. But again, I got in, and over, you know, I'm not exaggerating, 300 students, you know, like I was practically overwhelmed, and they were asking questions. Why did you do this? Why did you do this to this character? Why did you do this to this? So I'm not trying to, these feedbacks really help me to really know what I've been able to do. So I want to encourage you, pick your copy and read. I would like to see or hear from you what you think about it.
I'll definitely do. And I believe anybody hearing you now would be eager to pick their copies too. That's one wonderful thing about literature. There is no genre of literature you interact with that will move you to a particular emotion. And the level of creativity of the writer is also gauged by the level of emotional reaction the work pushes people to reveal. So giving these insights makes me more eager to have my copy and read. Although
Mm.
I must confess that tragic creating tragedy is just a glimpse into life's reality.
Mm.
Life itself is not fair
Mm.
because no matter what you do, we only pray and hope that fortune smiles on us.
Mm.
It's not automatic that you are putting your best, the best of results to come, but we always pray for divine grace. And once it smiles on us, we are happy. So everybody would rather love for their best characters to end up well, but life is not always fair. That is why, up till now, I've been reworking my poems. I should have been published a long while ago, but once I go through my poems, why will I not be tagged Lamentations of Modern Times? Because sifting through all about more than 50 poems,
Wow.
the emotion, I started reworking them. Then started writing new ones. At least there's always a silver lining to every gray sky now. Why should it be that I'm always moved by melancholic emotion to
Mm.
writing? So, and that is just life. That is just life. So we have to face reality. And I'm giving your book from your testimonies and others' testimonies that you have recounted that it will be very, very near similitude. So I'm looking forward to reading the text. So if
Thank you.
you're welcome. If you do not have any other reactions, please, you can go ahead with the second
Okay,
reading.
I'll read another part of the stream of consciousness because it's actually shorter, so that I will not also and it also helps to contextualize maybe the situation around the novel itself.
Mhm.
So the second one, which of course alludes to the second chapter, is titled "Throbbing Paradise." I repeat, "Throbbing
Baby
Paradise."
Paradise. Wow.
Today, you will be with me in paradise. Yes, paradise, paradise, paradise. Those are the favorite scriptural lines of Mr. John Paul Obunama. Sometimes I wonder if Christ our Lord had, on that jagged planked cross, pronounced those words better than our immaculate catechist. Mr. Obunaman's grumpy tone, however exaggerated, excited no one but himself. Or perhaps that's what I thought. The catechumen classes, though expressed with the sacredness of the Holy Gospel, are long and mind numbing. Patrick, that overambitious fellow, often complains that he prefers going straight to Mass without required altar practice. That, of course, is not acceptable. You must be spiritually and physically prepared, and preparation requires utmost discipline. The celebration of Mass is ultimate symphonious melody. It is the long walk to spiritual freedom. It is Drogba's goal inside Van der Sar's net. But the only way to carry that consecrated crucifix and join the esteemed priests on the revered walk down the graceful aisle is to the holy altar is through these tedious catechism classes. But that's an aside. The main issue is that one word which Mr. Obunama never ceased to emphasize during his classes, which resonates
Okay, great.
Oh, the network is
in
really,
my
really
medulla
bad.
oblongata
Yes, I
during
think it's
those
back
for
now.
long. Consecrated word also can those sweaty Aladura women on Adejanyo Street. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
You
Okay.
lost your audio momentarily, but it's back now.
But you're back now.
Okay. All right. So should I just continue?
Please do.
Okay. So, but the opposite of that consecrated word paradise cannot be tolerated. The way those sweaty Aladura women who appear every Saturday mornings on Adejanyo Street preach about salvation in Yoruba language would even scare the devil himself towards the possibility of repentance. Listing every possible sin we all might have committed during the week, they end their dreadful sermons with the eventual destination of hellfire. I always wet my pants when stealing meat from the pot is inconceivably mentioned. Initially, I thought bad politicians are hell's principal candidates, since, according to one of my father's friends, Mr. Kewande, they steal not just huge sums of money, but also human lives. The taxi driver never involves petty stealing in his discussion of politics with my father, and so I never thought a little fractional bite of a chicken part when mother appeared not to be looking was harmful, until the advent of the Aladura women into our trembling streets, until their bizarre frenzy appearances, until their spiritual seizures and unending prophecies forcibly creep into my exhausted brain. And so I started thinking more of paradise. Interestingly, every time they come around, the Aladura women never failed to mention that it is the only alternative. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Thank you so much.
That's another great insight into sense of deja vu. You know, when that the line feeling.
Well, I think we might have lost Aja's own audio again to network. Aja, are you still here? Hello, Aja, are you here now? Can you talk? Network problem. Wow, I mean, I was just laughing. I mean, hearing some of the excerpts you are reading. Aja, are you talking now? I mean, uh, that's just like Aja was saying. That's another very beautiful reading, and I'm glad you are sharing this with us. Reference to Aladura, the way our people are very passionate about the issues of religion, and making even the as in the way they preach the issue of salvation, that even the devil himself will like, oh boy, I better be born again and all that. And
Yeah.
I love the how do I call it now? The technique you use in describing the catechist. I mean, it's so very beautiful. Another very interesting and engaging reading we just had. Do we have anybody willing to ask questions? So it's getting darker here. I need to put on the light. Ask questions or give a commentary. Mr. Daudu, you want to say something? I see you just showed your video in response to our author for today.
No. But what I wanted to talk about is Ajia mentioned the issue of tragic, that his work is tragic, based on the comment of the author, even though we've not read it, but on the title, Broken Dreams. So my question is, Can you hear me? The author, can you hear me?
Yes, you
Yes, I
can.
can
We
hear
can
you,
hear
sir.
Okay, so when she asked that question, what came to my mind was Things Fall Apart. The reason for me, the reason why Things Fall Apart resonates for me, I know that if this world will end, Things Fall Apart will continue to be read all over the world.
Mm.
You know, and
Yeah.
people can relate because of the tragic nature of the story. So, Broken Dreams. My question is, why did you choose to go along the line of tragic and not the happy ending as our work? I teach. This is the thing. This is the thing. I've argued. I just finished my master's in last week. English education. And one of the arguments I had with my HOD is that in our class he was teaching us, and I told him that many students are not doing well in literature because the teachers who teach English, apart from Ajia that I've seen from my interaction with her, very few teachers are teaching for Lagos State. Most of them are only conversant with grammar. Their strength lies in the linguistic aspect of English and not literature. That's why you discover that students are not doing well. The statistics in the last 15 years shows that students who are doing literature are not doing fine. And the reason is because, anyway, don't let me go there, but let's face, but I'll get in touch with you since I'm saying you. But I just wanted you to answer the issue of most novels I've read that are written by Nigerians is always having happy ending, happy ending, happy ending. But the truth of the matter is that life itself is not fair. So why did you go tragic? Why did you go along the line of
Okay. Thank you very much for this very, very inspiring question. I must confess that there's a kind of synergy coming from you already. But let me try and answer your question to the best of my ability. There are different reasons why people write. But for me, I write to show to showcase some measure of reality. And the irony in one of the criticism that I also got is that why will you have to depict dreams? Everybody should love dreams. Dreams are good. Dreams are this. So why did you say that dreams are what? Why you? I mean, especially those who are very much in tune with religious aspect of life. And my answer is very simple: that when you depict literature in form of a dream, you are not painting the reality of the environment. There are some, there are there are different, as much as this novel connects to a young boy, but there are different scenes that stipulates so many national issues. There is an aspect of extreme poverty. There is an aspect of bad leadership. There is also a connection to other ills and deformities in society. Maybe I'm going to read a part of the novel which connects to the issue of kidnapping and killings and all that. There is an aspect that even talks about what you may alluded to, the importance of discipline in secondary schools. It's also very interesting. And there is, so it's basically about the reality of life. And if you look, and funny thing about this novel is that it's not even a fiction, it's actually faction, because the author, I don't know who the author is actually, but the author, author chooses or chose.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
Yes,
I
I'm
like
just
that.
representing him.
Sorry. Quick one.
So you are distancing yourself from the author.
Yeah.
No, that's the way it is. That's literature. I love this.
Thank you.
Since the persona is talking in the first
Exactly.
person, so that persona is the author. Are you saying that?
So we have three different personas. That's what
Yeah,
it is now. The
No,
person reading the work to us,
no,
the
please.
author of the work, and the persona in the narrative. Interesting.
Okay. So I don't know the author. So the author even used real life settings, mentioning places within Nigeria, so to speak, just to justify that sense of reality,
Very
So
simple.
there is a particular character whereby if you read the story of the character, and I'm not exaggerating, you understand, and then you read it to the end, you will almost want to squeeze the life out of the author, But again, you will realize that the author is just telling you the facts. So rather than paint, a picture, I don't want to say it, but I promise you, if you read it, you're going to practically fight with the author that why did you do this cruel thing? But that's the reality of life. Even the wife of the author was like, no, I can't read this. This is bad of you. Why would you? I mean, so if the wife could also register her complaints, so how much more others? So I wasn't shocked when these young readers, in fact, they were like, wow, this is true, but this is sad. But again, I said, this is the reality. And what's the essence?
Yeah.
The goal is for us to wake up, is for the society to wake up, is for the government to also wake up to their responsibilities, because if they don't, the citizens, pay the price, So I think
Wow.
I will stop here.
In fact, I'm so impressed. Sorry, you lost me for a while. My internet acted up. So, yes, your text shows a lot of very similitude, and I'm very glad when we are no longer painting black, blue, trying to ameliorate and happy-go-lucky attitude would not solve our national issues, would not even solve our immediate domestic issues. So, but when we start facing stark reality, capturing true life events, and saying things the way they are, painting situations in their exact unfolding, then these young minds will get down to serious business. Literature should not be about laughter. We are not for fast and melodramatic. No. Let's get to action. Yes, we can't say life should just be skewed towards tragedy. There are the good days, the bad days. We should always strike the balance in our narrative. And this particular chapter you read happens to reveal a lot about the author now that you do not know. Because from that reading, your religious background, the author's religious background is clearly glimpsed from
No,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think it's just being
I beg to
being an
disagree.
author. I think it's just being an author. It just reminds me of a kind of Brother Jigo. I mean, because you have similar scenario there. I'm going to say it's not even a Christian.
women and their timely intervention into pricking the author's conscience into making the author know that the little stealing from the mom's pot is as harmful as the
No, I think the author is only replicating a reality that is common
yes.
amongst everybody.
Mhm.
So to say.
Okay.
Or let me say almost everybody. Let me not say everybody.
From the background of the author is established.
Yeah.
And of course, another quite interesting thing about the author that is revealed here is the powerful mastery of figures of speech. A lot. In fact, I've never seen a book that's richly packed within a page of reading with literary terms and figures of speech when it's not poetry. You started with repetition, paradise, so biblical allusion to metaphor, Drogba's goal, inside Vendetta. Vanda said, no. That's the great mastery of your figures of speech, and it speaks to the fact that we're having a master of the game in the house today. So we will give it up to you.
Yeah.
Kudos, this is a great job.
Yeah. I think I see
more
it's okay.
put together.
Raising her hand earlier. So I
Yes.
don't know if she has something to say.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. The school scenario brought to my mind uh, Tai Sholari, uh, in one of his famous essays. It starts with may your road be rough. I
Mm.
think we read that. We read that in school. When we were in school. What brought to my mind was, I think you said something that you must be prepared. Preparation requires discipline. Tedious classes. I like it that the book is real because being in school is very important because learning prepare us for life, not just for school. So I think as a writer, we also have the duty to fashion society, enable the young ones to prepare their minds. You know, in those days, I want to compare what, it's related to us, what Tai Shulari said in those days. But today, about a few days ago, I was thinking, can we say that to the young people of today? May your road be
Mm.
rough, even after all this economic hardship, all this abuse that is so blatantly being carried out on children, even by their fathers, you
Mm.
know, and then hunger. During our days, the road was rough, but we come home, we can eat anything we want, you know. You
Mm.
read and then you study, but you don't go with hunger. Some
Mm.
of these children go to sleep in hunger.
Mm.
But I like what you read, sir, making allusion to football, to Aladura, things that are actually relevant to the society that we can
Exactly.
actually, uh, relate with. That was a very good read. The reading was beautiful. And like one of my sisters said there, it's packed with metaphor and simile. I just wonder how your poems will sound like or read like. Thank you very much for
Well,
sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you, ma'am, for that wonderful contribution. And they are well deserved accolades. They are well deserved accolades. Great job, author and done with this particular text. So, do we have? Do you have a reaction to that, Dr. Charles?
Oh yeah, no, I just want to say thank you for your observations, and I'm grateful for your commendations to on the work. You spoke about the fact that during our time, our road, we usually tell ourselves, "May our road be rough," and
Yes.
you
Mm.
wonder if this generation will understand the
Yeah.
underlying message behind that powerful
yeah.
expression. Well, the truth of the matter is that I think their road is already rough now. You
They
know,
don't want to have
so
More.
yes, no, and I
More.
mean no disrespect, but it's the reality. I mean,
yeah. It's
they
real.
have the choice. Like I tell some of my students, you have a choice now. It's either you go the right way or you choose to go the wrong way. But there are consequences to such actions.
Yeah.
So, life now entails that you hit the ground running. The
Mhm.
struggles are all over, you know um and you have to choose
Yeah, I think we might have
The
lost the
network in the background.
audio
What? This,
again.
oh,
Dr.
Not
Charles, can
not
you
Wow.
about
hear
that.
us?
It's everywhere.
It's true.
okay.
It also
I
depends
think
on
it's
the network.
Nigeria. Oh. Yeah, we hear.
As well. I think we lost your audio again.
Wow.
Okay, I think you still just talking about the issue of May Your Road Be Rough. When Taifi Larry was popularizing that he was just using that to ground his students about the fact that hey, in life you need a rocky road to actually become the best version of yourself. Nobody will attain eminence or greatness just walking
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
ride. And well, it made it popular, but I mean, unfortunately, the realities of Nigeria today actually meant that most people are starting on a very even rough road. So it's not, I mean, it's a given that once you just start, you are just starting naturally. Just very few, maybe like 2% of the people in our parts of the world actually have it all put together, and maybe they have very luxurious background that doesn't allow them to know what it's like to have a rough road to eminence. I think Dr. Charles is back. Dr. Charles, are you fully back now? I think network is playing tricks on us here. So maybe we'll just quickly take the third round of reading, and then so that we start to call it a day. So okay,
Yes,
Is it?
5 here, and
yes, yes. I'm very sorry about that. Yes,
no,
the
it's
network.
okay. It's network.
Network.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes, we
All right.
can.
Yes, we
Can
can.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes, we
you.
can.
Okay.
We can loud and clear.
Okay. So I'm going to take the third reading, and it will be within the text now. Within, I think this is from chapter. Well, it's quite long, but I'll just take an excerpt from chapter 7. So last part of chapter 7.
Okay.
My goodness, my goodness. He could not believe his eyes. About half a kilometer away, right in the middle of the road, 5 shapes stood still with something unmistakable in their hands. Guns. The action of one of them was certain. It was waving their vehicle down. On the right side of his eyes, figures began to pop out of the thick foliage. Then you heard faint shouts coming from everywhere. Stop! Stop! Or we go shoot. But the driver was too stunned. His foot pressed further on the accelerator. Armed robbers? Kayode frantically inquired. No, Barrister Olu responded. I think these are not armed robbers. They are the
Japan.
words not left his mouth when rapid popping of sounds emanated from everywhere as torrents of bullets hit the car. Everyone screamed out in fear. Some bullets hit the front tires, causing them to instantly deflate. As a result, the car skidded dangerously across the hilly road till it grounded to a stop. Nena closed her eyes and held Ego close, while the latter continued to scream along out in fear. The other 2 passengers tried to get out, but the door was somehow stuck. Suddenly, tens of armed men with covered faces appeared out of nowhere, coming out from the thick bush. Don't you dare move. If you move, you are dead. Hands up, all of you. I said hands up. They all roared in unison. The frightened passengers complied except the stunned driver, whose hand seemed glued to the steering. Some of the men brandished heavy artilleries, while others were armed with blood-stained machete. Everyone was agitated except Mr. Akiwande, who sat still because he simply could not move himself. He felt wet. He felt heavy, as if something was stuck in his chest. Looking down, he saw a pool of crimson blood gradually forming across his his wet chest. One of the men stepped forward. "Get out, all of you," he commanded. The copper was the first to react. He tried opening the door, but to no avail. Saying this, the fierce-looking man repeated his order to his colleagues: "Get them out." At once, strong hands dragged the terrified passengers one by one out of the damaged car. Pulling Inenna by her hair, one of the men dragged her away into the bush, ignoring the whimper of pain. Ego screamed out, but the sound of her voice was instantly muffled by a powerful, dirty slap. She instantly fainted, and two men also carried her into an adjoining bush and disappeared through a well-camouflaged path up the hill. Kayode followed suit. Someone viciously hit his back with the muzzle of the gun. He stumbled in pain but quickly rose up. "See, Copper, e be like say you strong well, we go see," the ruthless hoodlum remarked. "You better pray that your papa, the federal government, pay you, or else henceforth you go dey collect your alawi for heaven, be that." Another coldly responded. The visibly shaking young man too was led away. With a strong heave, Barrister Olu forced his door open and stepped out by himself with his hands raised in surrender. Instantly, he was seized and brutally forced to the ground. Someone unnecessarily kicked the lawyer in his ribs, while another, with his knee, viciously pinned his head to the ground. Olu winced in extreme pain and discomfort. The force from the knee of his aggressor made his soft jaw rub against the hot, gritty asphalt, instantly causing stretch of deep bruises. Oozing out blood from the damaged flesh, it was as if the road was already eating up the lawyer's face. The brute aggression seemed to last forever. Underneath the car, he could see tiny droplets of blood forming a small pool coming through tiny spaces from the driver's door. Olu's assailants were young men, not more than 20 years of age. Nonetheless, they were extremely merciless. Someone checked his pocket and pulled out his ID card. Instantly, the young armed boy let out a loud cheer, raised his gun in the air and shouted, "We don't catch one big fish, boss. Quiet. Take him away with orders." The fierce-looking leader of the gang responded, "Yes, sir. But what about the driver?" The young lad continued, hoping to get the goodwill of his master. The impressionable leader marched to the driver's side and looked in. He took one look at the pale face of Mr. Akinwande, who was already gasping for breath, with trickles of blood and saliva coming from his mouth. "What about him?" His response was rhetorical. "The man is finished already," was the cold judgment. Calmly, the ringleader pulled out his pistol from its holster, pointed it at the driver's head, and pulled the excited trigger. Thank you.
Oh, oh my God. I cannot see why the reactions of those students. Oh, in fact, I was praying at a point that don't let them finish up the driver. But that is a stark reality. The brute reality of the brutality of kidnappers on our roads. And that is the sad state of our nation. So sad. So sad. Right now, I'm so touched. Oh God.
I think that's not even the sad part of the topic. I think
Oh,
that you've not read other sad parts. There's another part that
Oh dear.
I understand the students
so,
are sort of protecting.
Yes,
true.
yes. But
That's
again,
gory.
still,
But we can't escape it. We can't
Mm,
we can't turn our heads and eyes to the other side because this is the stark reality facing us by the day. Nobody will step out of their homes in Nigeria now,
mm,
going a long distance without praying and praying until you get there and you step to your destination.
mm,
Each time I step out, well, I alighted from a public transport on a long journey. My first stepping down, thank God.
mm,
I offer special thank thank you prayer to my God.
mm,
That's the God at the days of carefree adventures. I could remember in the early 80s, I was still in primary school. I grew up in Lokoja, and my dad was in Ibadan. So my mom was in Lokoja with me. Whenever we had the long holidays, all it would take my mom then was to just get me to the car park, hand me over to the driver, and voila, I'm on that long journey. I always enjoy my travels. As early as 5 a.m., my mom would get me ready. We would get to the car park about 6. And by 7, we're on the road. And I could remember vividly by 1, 2 p.m., would be at Agodi Gate. And since that youthful age, young as 9, 10, 11 up to, I left my primary school by age 13. I'd, I'd grown to love traveling, and travel remains one of my hobby till this day. But I dare not gallivant about as we used to in those days. So sad, so sad.
mm.
Well done. At
Thank
this
you very
point, I'm
much.
going
thank
to
you.
emotion. I'm emotional.
Okay.
So let's give them for us.
Okay, yeah. I
Uh,
think
I think we
Mr.
have
Samson.
Mr. There, yes, Mr.
yes,
Sampson was
yes.
raising his hand.
Um, hmm.
Mm,
This happened, what you portrayed.
mm,
Let's start this way. I grew up in Lagos. My mom is from Ekiti. My dad is from Lagos. And all my life I spent in Lagos. But I live with Igbo people in my compound in Mushi. But for the first time in my life, I went to Enugu. So I lived in Enugu for 4 years. I interviewed veterans who fought in Biafra War. And I'm going to we'll work together and write about that because a lot of people are not telling history of Nigeria the way it is. But this is where I'm going. Last year, I went to U.S. Embassy in Abuja, and exactly what you portrayed happened to me
Wow.
because I have an uncle who works with Nigerian customs. He's a citizen of US. He was born in US. So he delayed the statement of account he wanted to give me. So you know, I traveled on a Monday. So I'm trying to just I'll cut the story short. I could relate to what you're saying because I have never witnessed that kind of thing. When I was traveling to Enugu during the time of I think Obasanjo, Yaradua, so the road was good. NDLE used to stop us on the way. They dress, there is army on the road. That was during the time of Bakassi boys. So there were armies on the way. There were these SARS on the way. So that night, it was raining. When they stopped us, I'm telling you the way it is. I thought my mind was that it was these NDLA people that stopped us. But the other people in the vehicle who are familiar with that kind of thing knew they were our brothers now. Now, what was shocking to me was that immediately we stepped down. I was thinking they were policemen who were disguised. So they collected my phone. Uh, and I was telling them, don't touch my bag, that I'm going to the embassy, that my passport. It's not funny.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, now they were young guys, young guys at Ore Junction.
Hey,
So they said, Egbon, I'm a authority. You know, you know, they were speaking good English. At some point, they spoke good English. So I sensed they are students. And they are not going to harm us. All they wanted is money and our phones. So there was a girl in the bus. The girl was just shaking. She was shivering. Till we got to. She's a student of. She was studying nursing. I can't forget that scene in my life till I die. The girl was studying nursing in Republic of Benin. Our institution happened to be those non-accredited courses, so she was affected. She had spent 3 years already. She just got a brand new laptop. They collected a brand new laptop. They collected a brand new phone. This is something that happened to me. I'm telling you. So they now told us to lie down close to the these long lorries that were passing by the road almost stepped on us. Oh. They told us to lie close to the, and one of us that was questioning them, they used cutlass to they hit him with cutlass. The guy said he has a wife and children that they shouldn't. He said they should shut up that they will kill him. Wow. This happened to me. Like, so what's the point I'm trying to I said what? Lagos Road. So at the end of this thing, our driver was getting. He said he has been driving on that road for more than 25 years. He has never experienced that kind of thing. So at the end, we left, then we got to Abuja, and there was police report, but I wasn't really bothered about that, so I logged in the hotel. Now, that's one. The second thing that happened about the road, and I think our politicians should do something, the roads are in bad shape, and they are not bothered. Recently, I traveled to Ebonyi for a joint consultative meeting. I represented my provost, and I said, "What? If you want to catch the feel of how Nigeria looks, you have to travel by the road to know what is happening." We almost died too when we got to one bridge at Benin bypass. But thank God. So I could relate to what you're saying, but this is the reality of what is happening, and the government needs to do something. I'm sure there's a YouTube record of this. The government needs to do something. People are going. A student of mine, the brother was kidnapped in Kogi State. He was just recently released when they demanded for 50 million. So every country has its challenges,
Yeah.
And Yoruba people have this proverb. They say, "Any con no more." It happened to me. It happened to I travel. I love traveling a lot. But after that thing, the thing made me. I don't listen to news. I became so dejected. I don't listen to news. I don't joke with news. I don't listen to news anymore.
The trauma.
The trauma, yeah, really. But what it is. So thank you very much for. I'm sorry for boring you with my story.
No, you did not. Rather, you did not, sir. In fact, ironically speaking, you provided sorry, can I say something? Can I continue?
Yes, you can.
Okay,
Yes,
you
can.
provided a context to the story, because what matters is not even what happened to these characters, but what is the context behind their lives. I mean, there are five, or let me say there were 5 people being kidnapped. First is the driver, who, when you read the novel, you discover that he was a driver, but the wife had already had a bad dream, which he dismissed. That, look, I have to fend. This driver's daughter was sent out of school because there was no money to pay school fees. So that morning he had to drive out early, but as luck will have it, he was very fortunate because he was the very first person to get to the park, and he was able to get, within the short period of time, was able to get about 5 passengers, or no, 4 passengers that he needed to transport from where he was to Lagos. And the first passenger happens to be the barrister Olu, who had a beautiful wife, and the wife just had a baby, and the wife told him that morning that, what, why don't you take the car? And he said, no, you handle the car. Let me just take public transport. I'm just going for a meeting. I'll be back in a jiffy. but I'm not sure whether he got back. The second happens to be the copper, who was the only son of his old parents. And you know what happened. And then the third happens to be two girls who were working in a company who had to go to Lagos to do some things. Young, pretty girls. In fact, by the time you read the context of their background, you will understand the gravity of what had happened to their lives, which is life changing. So,
Wow.
That's so.
thank you so much, Mr. Sampson, that will do for giving us that context.
Yes. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
I was just about saying that it's so sad that that's where we are today, and brings to mind the case of Mr. Sampson is one lucky case of just armed robbery. The bigger picture and the saddest is that of kidnappings. It's now so rampant. It doesn't matter you are in a public or your private transportation. You just have to pray that you never fall prey. Look at the case of this radiologist, young lady that was released, I think about a couple of weeks back now. She was taken about a month ago. And I have forgotten the ridiculous amount they were demanding. A young graduate that had gone for induction, coming back from Sokoto, and she was kidnapped. And the whole internet had to rise up. The story was all over, everybody contributing, until the said amount was raised and she was returned. The question is, was she returned in one piece? I'm not saying she's mutated or physically decapacitated, no. But the trauma that will be with her will stay with her for life. The worst thing that will ever happen to any human being. And the shock. I pray it never happened to us. Some people will say Nigeria never happened to you. We are Nigerians. It is not Nigeria that is happening to us. It is our choices, bad leadership, bad decisions by our leadership that is happening to us. And leadership starts from with us. And this is why the lofty work of LRF needs quality writings like this. Once again, I give kudos to you, Dr. Akishete, for this captivating, stark, very similar write-up. These are the kinds of texts.
This Olabisi Olasupo, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Quick one.
Okay.
Chinua Achebe wrote a book with Nigeria, and was saying the trouble with Nigeria is the leaders. I don't agree. That's my very candid opinion. You know, I stood in the trouble with Nigeria because eventually I never knew that LRF was going to make a director. And no, I'm just giving an instance. It was somebody, I don't know, Mr. Babs, somebody recommended me, and I'm going to, and I'm the vice chairperson of the education committee of Brazilian Descendant Association in Lagos. So our committee is starting our work next year, and I'm going to bring in LRF. I'm going, I've discussed with my secretary today. Now, what's the point I'm trying to make? My observation, very candid one, because the context from which Achebe was speaking, he was in the US, and there were, if you read that book, you see that he was talking about many things, like this indigenship, all these things that they don't request those things in the US. We should remove it. However, we must contextualize our problem within the cultural context we have found ourselves. So the problems with our country is that already from our homes, our individual homes, our families, there is rottenness in the system. So it is this thing that cascades to the leadership level. So the
Yes, of course.
trouble with Nigeria is not the leader. That's the truth. I'm telling you, it is from we
Yes,
ourselves. Because it is through some. Those I'm just telling you. I'm coming, man. I'm coming.
I think you are very right.
Recently,
If you listen to
recently,
if
I'm
you
coming.
Dr.
Let me
Charles,
give
you
you.
are
I want to
causing
give you an instance.
you are causing political.
hello,
Sorry?
I say you are
if
already
There was
causing political
there
debate
was an
in.
international
Oh,
conference.
well,
Okay, let me.
so
Oh my God.
Mr. Samson, I quite agree with you. We are saying the same, but the problem of leadership stems from our choices. I said it that our choices is marrying us, and it will continue to mar us. Yes, choices starts from the home, and it now goes to the larger society, built up to the problem of leadership. Leaders are from us. So we are saying the same thing, but we can't overrule the fact that the larger picture is controlled by our leaders. The problem is deeply rooted from the home, from the homes, cannot be educated. Now, if we can give back the reading culture into these young minds right from the home, then we capture them again in the schools, then gradually it's an uphill task, but it is doable. And we shall continue in this joint effort. By God's grace, soon this issue of warped values would easily face out. We will it's not only the reading culture that will be reenacted or brought back to life. Our lost values, our norms would start to be revitalized in the youths through quality readings like this. Who will read it and they feel sad and wouldn't want to do something good about it to better the lot of the people? So that's just it.
Well, thank you so much. I think I should just give a vote of thanks because I'm not sure we can end this debate if we continue. I want to thank you so much to our author for today. I mean, the book is so rich in imagery, and then I just say it wouldn't be a work of literature if it's not rich in imagery. And then, I believe the greatness of a work is in three factors. There could be more. The fact that the reactions, the emotional reactions the book generates, and obviously your work. You can see the kind of debate. I can't remember the last time we had this kind of debate about issues in Nigeria. I mean, after reading a book, and that shows that this is a very quality work of literature. And then the other thing is projection. Virtually everybody is projecting themselves. Mr. Sampson has his own experience. Haji has her own experience in the milieu of your work. And that shows a very quality work as well, because readers are able to project themselves. And you also mentioned that when you went to some schools, some of the students came to you. Oh, you just wrote about our experiences. And that shows a very quality work of literature. The last one is correlations. I mean, I've had to allude to you coming, because the stream of consciousness you used reminded me of Thomas Hardy, and that's another very classic, beautiful writers of the English language, and reading when you started just reminded me of that. I've forgotten the book now, the title of the book. I think it's Test of the D'Urberville. I mean, you just started with stream of consciousness, and I was like, wow, this is beautiful, and that shows a very good. You've been related to Wole Soyinka. They've mentioned Achebe. They've mentioned and that shows that your work evokes all those very strong memories and nostalgia, which is also shows that it's a very, very beautiful book. So and then it's actually rich in contemporary allusions. Alluding to sports, alluding to Nigerian socio-political issues, alluding to religious issues as well. And that also is a very beautiful work. So thank you so much for penning this down for posterity to read. I mean, and it's a very beautiful work. So the question I would like to ask: where can we get it? How can we get this book?
Okay.
From you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Well, that's one. Well, we can get the book in bookshops in Ibadan. I think Craft Books is
Oh,
the
great.
publisher at Bodija, and I think they've also spread it across bookshops in Ibadan. I'm not, to be honest with you, when it comes to marketing, I'm very poor in marketing, but I just except schools, maybe some reader. Maybe one lecturer or two could have read it and said, okay, fine, I got marketing. I just handed it over to my marketing agent. But I have copies with me too. You can
Okay. I think your network is
reach me via my number or my anywhere in the world if you want that too. But again, it's available at bookshops in Badon, in UI, at
Well, so I think network
books.
is affecting you
I think
also.
booksellers perhaps, but I have to sorry, can you hear me now?
Okay, it's going on and off, but I mean, I think basically when we need to get them, we'll
put up
just
your
talk to
videos.
Mary, and then those that have your contact will just reach out to you. I'm glad that
Okay.
we heard that it's available in booksellers, in UI,
Yes.
and Bookcraft is the one handling the marketing, so that makes it easier. I
Yes.
would like to have 2 copies. I would just maybe tell my brother. I have my family living in Ibadan. Maybe they'll come and collect from you. So we'll just
Thank you, sir.
arrange that. Thank you very, very much for
Thank you
penning
so
down
much.
this work of literature.
Thank you.
Now, say thank you to everybody. This fast spent. I mean, I know we can just continue because it's a book that evokes a lot of feelings and emotions, and that shows a very, very beautiful work. So,
Thank
on
you,
behalf
sir.
of LRF, the board of trustees, the board of directors, and all our volunteers and our workforce all over, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for availing us this reading today, sharing from your very beautiful work with us. We are so grateful and we look forward to your next book, hopefully next year, so that we can also invite you to come and read from your next masterpiece with us. So I want to say thank you to everybody who stayed with us this far. Many people joined from the beginning, but we know that okay, people have a lot of things to also attend to. But I want to thank you to Ajia for helping us to moderate the sessions today. Thank you to Mr. Sampson. Thank you, Stephen Happiness, for sharing, reading the author's profile to us. And thank you to Barrister Okay for also helping us to, connect this together, sharing our own experience, and also helping to us to confirm the text of the D'Urberville by Thomas Hardy. It's been a pleasure being part of this reading today, and we look forward to having every one of you again next month when we host our last author for the year in the month of December. So till then, from Prescott, I'm saying thanks and have a wonderful and blessed month of November.